Got some extraordinary breaking news. Chief Justice Roberts is in dialogue with Donald Trump. Well, it's one-sided. Chief Justice Roberts just issued a statement telling Donald Trump to knock it off and stop calling for impeachment of federal judges when he doesn't like or appreciate their rulings against him, telling him in no uncertain terms in a statement, not tied to a case, just a direct statement from Chief Justice Roberts to Donald Trump and to the public, telling him if you don't like a ruling by a federal judge, your process is appeal, not impeachment. Appeal, not impeachment. Donald Trump attacked the judge. This is the judge that issued the injunction to stop him from using the Alien Enemies Act to continue to deport under a phony war power, a phony exercise of war power, claiming that the enemy combatants need to be expelled immediately from America. And in response to that, he went after the judge after the judge issued his broad temporary restraining order that's being litigated as we speak right now in front of this particular judge. I'm Michael Popak. You're on the MeidasTouch Network in Legal AF. Let's get into this extraordinary moment where the Chief Justice, in his role as the chief administrator for all things federal court, felt it was incumbent upon him to speak his mind, even when there was no case in front of him. I can't think in the last 30 years or 40 years where a chief judge has done that. Look, this chief judge is not covering himself in any glory about he emboldened Donald Trump to become president. He gave him immunity for most of his or all of his criminal conduct or behavior. And now he's trying to put the genie back in the bottle. I mean, this is the same Chief Justice that refused to preside over one of the impeachment proceedings against Donald Trump after Jan 6th because Donald Trump was no longer president. So he wasn't going to preside over the impeachment proceeding. So he's bent over backwards to help Donald Trump when he can. So for this person to now come forward and just say what he said is extraordinary. This is what let me read to you first what Donald Trump said. Donald Trump says, because they're all claiming that Judge Boasberg, the chief judge of the district court in D.C., has no jurisdiction, no power over Donald Trump because he's exercising his commander-in-chief powers, which he's not. This is what the Trump called Boasberg crooked, called him an agitator. He said, this judge, like many of the crooked judges I'm forced to appear before, should be impeached, all in caps. This was on Truth Social on Tuesday morning. We don't want vicious, violent, and demented criminals, many of them deranged murderers in our country. Of course, Boasberg did not decline to respond to that, but he continued. This is what the judge said. This is what Trump said. The radical left lunatic of a judge, here we go again, a troublemaker and agitator who was sadly appointed by Barack Hussein Obama, was not elected president. He didn't win the popular vote by a lot. He didn't win all 7 swing states. He didn't win 2750 to 525 counties. He didn't win anything. I won for many reasons in an overwhelming mandate, but fighting illegal immigration may have been the number one reason for this historic victory. I'm just doing what the voters want me to do. And in response, John Roberts, again, this is not normal, everybody, but let me just read you what he wrote. Roberts said that, quote, for more than 2 centuries, it has been established that impeachment is not an appropriate response to disagreement concerning a judicial decision. The normal appellate review process exists for that purpose. I can't express to you enough as a practicing lawyer how unusual, I guess is the right word, this is to have a Supreme Court justice in open dialogue with the president of the United States, telling that guy, the president, back off and don't go after my federal judges that I'm responsible for as the head of Article 3. You may be head of Article 2, but I'm head of Article 3. And in other words, I don't want to hear about your popular vote. I don't want to hear about your mandate. And if you got a problem with one of my federal judges, the call is not for impeachment or his head, or another judge, Beryl Howell, once said, like you're the Queen of Hearts and you're displeased with somebody in front of you, so it's off with his head. That's not what you do in this country. And the fact that Roberts felt that he had to reach out and do that at this moment in time shows you the extraordinary pressure the Supreme Court is under. I have a secret weapon. I got a joke in my back pocket that I can pull out at a dinner party, and it's never failed to bring down the house. A secret weapon is a great asset to have in your back pocket. It helps you get ahead in life. That's how Mack Weldon thinks about clothing, as a secret weapon. Timeless, classic style that's infused with performance fabrics and hidden details. Whether you're looking for light as air underwear, anti-odor tees, or sweaters with lightweight warmth, Mack Weldon has a full range of clothes that feel comfortable all day long and never go out of style. What I love about Mack Weldon clothing is that they are luxuriously made, but with that added benefit of being made from performance fabrics that make me stand out in any room I enter. My wife's new favorite outfit is when I pair the Maverick Tech chinos with the Mack Weldon Tech linen half zip for that country club casual look. Some guys just want to look good without calling attention to themselves. Mack Weldon apparel gives you understated good looks for understated confidence. Mack Weldon clothes are designed to fit your style and the demands of modern life. They look like regular clothes, but feel like the latest in modern comfort. And just wait to start traveling in their crazy comfortable but elevated sweatpants from the Ace collection. Get timeless looks with modern comfort from Mack Weldon. Go to MackWeldon.com and get 25% off your first order of $125 or more with promo code LegalAF. That's MackWeldon.com, promo code LegalAF. I've said before, the Supreme Court is fighting not only for its own soul, but for the soul of America at this very moment. And Roberts is declaring where he sides. I don't know about pinning back all of Donald Trump's presidential powers when those cases inevitably come up, like the substance and merits of this case come up. You know what they're going to try to do now. They're going to try to argue that Chief Justice Roberts should be disqualified from presiding over Donald Trump's cases, or this case in particular, at the appellate level, because he's already shown a predisposition against Donald Trump. But that would mean I don't know what's going to happen. I think we then potentially have a 4-4 tie, and the Supreme Court would be incapable of issuing any rulings. If Roberts actually recused himself, which he won't, it wouldn't get Donald Trump what he wants anyway, because the Supreme Court wouldn't have the 5 votes to approve what he's doing. So careful what you wish for. I don't think, even in their wildest imagination, the Trump administration and its half-baked legal gurus thought that they were going to catch the ire of Chief Justice Roberts before an actual case where he could write something like that. The fact that he made a statement as the administrator of the federal courts is beyond extraordinary. And what it signals to Donald Trump about what he's doing, the fact that Roberts woke up in the morning and said, I got to step in and make a statement to show the battle, the friction, if you will, between Article 3 judges and Article 2 president. I mean, well, this is the checks and balance we've been waiting for. I just thought it was going to have to come in the form of a case or a decision. But Roberts woke up, brushed his teeth this morning and said, I got to protect Jeb Boasberg. And it just happened. I mean, this is sequential, one after another. Crazy attacks on the presidency. Now, by the president on a federal judge, we've seen this before with Donald Trump. We've seen it in criminal defendant Trump. We've seen it in criminal convicted defendant Trump, going after Judge Merchan, the state court judge, the Supreme Court judge in New York, and his wife and his daughter, and of course he got convicted on 34 felony counts there, going against Judge Engoron, the Supreme Court justice in New York, who presided over his $450 million civil fraud case against his wife and his law clerk, all women, going up against Chutkin, the federal judge in D.C., who presided over his criminal case there. It's always the same. They're depraved. They're lunatics. They're out of control. They're animals. They're liberals. They're just doing their job, just like you're allegedly doing your job. This is what they get paid to do. This is why they got lifetime appointments. And who cares at this moment in time, who cares who appointed them? Chief Justice Roberts, who was appointed by a Republican, is up against you now and calling you out. So what's going to happen next? Well, there's a number of parallel things all going on at the same time as Chief Justice Roberts just stuck his finger in it. You got Boasberg, who's still presiding. Donald Trump tried to get rid of him at the D.C. appellate court, and they did not respond. He said, he's making some crazy decisions on temporary restraining orders, restraining the power of the presidency. He needs to be removed as the judge. That didn't work. He then tried to convince Judge Boasberg that he didn't have jurisdiction over anything over the president. That didn't work. Then they went into a hearing on fact-finding to determine whether the Trump administration committed contempt. And there's going to be a filing today about that we'll report on. At the same time, the actual underlying injunction is being litigated at the same time with the Trump administration filing their paper to dissolve that order in which Judge Boasberg certified a class of all those who were subject to the Alien Enemies Act and prevented them from being continued to be deported, as he determines whether they were already deported in violation of his order. So all that's going on throughout this week, which will end up at the Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit, and then up at the United States Supreme Court. And then we have Roberts signaling to everybody, you want to talk appeal, but don't talk to me about impeachment or call in for one of my federal judges' heads on a pike. We'll continue to follow it all right here on the MeidasTouch Network and on Legal AF. Until my next reporting, I'm Michael Popek. In collaboration with the MeidasTouch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.